Hello and welcome to another episode from the Water's Edge. Today you catch up with us on the Barbara Complex, which is a syndicate we've joined this year for a couple of reasons. One reason is there's some good carp to target later on, but the main reason we've joined is for the tench fishing. It's probably one of the most famous and one of the best tench waters probably in the UK. It's done several fish into double figure and some real big uns as well. So that's what we've joined it for, is hopefully some big tench fishing and a real good couple of months at that. And actually, before we got down here today, we had a good text from Justin, a good mate of mine, who's already fishing on one of the bigger lakes, and we've witnessed something really special this morning. It's at 2 o'clock he texted us. We got down at first light, which was about 3:30, and he had a fish in the sling which went £11.4, a real beast of a tench. It's like, for me, it's the biggest tench I've ever seen. I didn't really think I'd witness something that big, certainly not so early on in the season. So well done to Justin for that, and it's really inspired me to go on to bigger and better things. But what we've done today is we're actually fishing already. I've got 2 rods out and we've done a little bit of an ease our way into it. So we've come onto the smaller water, which doesn't hold the biggest tench, but there's a few more numbers in it. So a lot of this chasing a big tench can be a few hit and misses, and there's some blanks involved, which is in all cases happy days if you're after a big fish. But we wanted to get off the mark hopefully with some smaller ones. So like I said, we're on the smaller water. We put some balls of ground bait in first thing to just try and get some fish scrubbing around, and we're in a lovely swim with some tree lines both sides. So I've got a tree line to my left, which I'll pop the left rod out on there. It's quite deep, about 10 foot, so it's plenty of water, not fishing very far out. And then to my right we've got an even bigger tree which looks really fishy. That looks like the one that could do a few bites, if I'm honest. So, and the other rod's popped out on there. So I'm really hopeful that today, I mean, you're not going to catch loads, but hopefully a couple of pulls will be nice, and we'll just ease our way into this tench campaign before we move on to the big lakes for bigger and better things, hopefully. So keep a lookout for those. But like I said, we've been fishing now perhaps 10 and 15 minutes. I've had a couple of bleeps. I've seen the odd little bubble pop up, so I'm hopeful that we might get one on camera for you today. So I'm just going to sit back. I'll perhaps pour myself a coffee, and hopefully we'll catch up with you in a bit with a fish. Well, it's not taken me too long to get into the action myself. The fish have obviously jumped on that bait we put in earlier. It's given me a real scrap. Now, like I said, I don't think the fish are as big in this lake, but being this our first trip, it's obviously exciting. I love this kind of fishing. Like, takes me back to a kid. I used to do this when I was younger and catch like a load of small, well, not small, like 5 or 6 pounders. But like I said, this is just sort of breaking us into hopefully the bigger and better things, like you see this morning with Justin. That was like mind-blowing. I can't imagine what that would be like to catch something like that, but this fish has certainly put up a good scrap. Just lay him down on there and we'll slip that hook out. Nicely hooked right in the top lip. He certainly weren't coming out after getting them trees, but from what you've seen earlier, perhaps not as impressive, but for me, what a great start to the tench campaign. Cannot complain about that. Like we said, we're going to come on here, feel our way into it before we get on to the bigger and better things, hopefully in the next few weeks and months. But that is a cracking start. I love tench. The teddy bear red eyes, they're just one of the best fish to catch. I'm sure everyone's got a little bit of a soft spot for them, and I certainly have. But let's get another bait back out there, because it didn't take very long. So hopefully there's a few fish feeding. You tend to find like the morning spell is the time you catch them, so eager to get back out there as soon as I can. So let's do that now. The right hand rod is slipped away again. I don't think he's particularly big, but he's now coming towards the net, so we'll just get down ready for him. Well, there we are. Happy days, another one hits the bank. Like I said, not very big, but we knew coming onto here that this wasn't going to be the biggest tench on the complex, but if I can hold him up, a tench is a tench in my eyes. Like I said, it's a nice way to start the campaign, start the season, get your eye in a bit, and get a few runs, which is the main thing. So what we'll do is we'll slip in back as well, then we're going to get another bait out there and perhaps show you the rigs as well in a bit more detail. So while we're out of the water, what we'll do is we'll quickly have a little look at the rig. I mean, it's nothing complicated whatsoever. So we'll start off with rod and reel. We've just got a 1.5 pound test curve rod, specialist rod, brilliant for this tench work, nice and soft, so hopefully stops hook pull, but can get in a bigger fish if you do manage to hook into it. 8 pound reel line, again, pretty standard, and that comes down, and we're actually chosen just to fish a little method feeder today. So what I've got that on is I've got that on a fluorocarbon leader. That's 25 pound, quite heavy because this is a rubbing leader. If it rubs up against these snags, we're not going to be losing it on this. So, and it sinks really well as well. So a fluorocarbon leader onto just an inline method feeder, but it's sort of semi-fixed with the swivel that just slides into the bottom of it. And that just comes onto a short 4-inch hook length, which is made out of braid, 10 pound braid, nice and thin, strong, but nice and supple as well. So we're going to be tucking that back into the method, so you want it supple to tuck back in. And then on the end there, we've just got a little size 12 mixer hook, incredibly strong but small again. And then on the hair, we've just got a little maggot clip with a couple of fake casters and a fake maggot as well. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, no real food items on there. You're relying on the fact that they're going to be grubbing around on the free offerings we've put out there, and then you've got your imitation bait sitting in there. And that, one of the main reasons for that is obviously there's a lot of small fish, a lot of roach and that in here. If I was going to put real maggots, sweet corn, they'd be plucking that off in no time. So this is a bit more foolproof for the smaller roach and that, and it just keeps you after your target fish, hopefully something a bit bigger to come along and pick it up. And then all we're doing, I've just got myself a little method mix mixed up. Don't need much because there's hardly anything going on there. And then it's just a case of laying your rig into the mould, in with a scoop of method mix, big press down, and that all pops out lovely. So there's like one lovely mouthful per tench hopefully that comes along and has a little go at it. It's all in there neat, can't tangle, and yeah, if it's a foolproof way of catching, the method feeder is the way. Nothing complicated but super effective. So let's get this back out on the spot and hopefully we can catch up with you again with another fish. Well, we've just had another absolute flyer on the right hand rod. We're getting a little bit worried, to be honest, because we've sat here for a couple of hours at least without a bite, and it is quite normally the case with tench fishing that 80% of your bites probably come sort of in the first 3 or 4 hours of daylight. So we're almost thinking that we'd missed the chance because we're not here for particularly long. Like I said, we're just sort of feeling our way into it, but finally it's screamed off again, and this one was a proper screamer. We unfortunately lost one off camera, which I didn't show you, but we are finally attaching another fish, so happy days in that aspect. He's coming into the net. Well, that shows how much I know. Not quite as excited now. It's I've just seen it and it's a bream. It's given up a good account of itself for bream, and I can't actually believe the run it gave. I would have bet everything I had on that being a tench, but never mind, we're still catching fish. And he's in. We'll get him on the mat and we'll have a quick look at him. There we are. Let's just put that down there. Not the intended species, but at least we're catching fish. At least we know the rigs are working, baits are working, and we're in an area where fish are happy to feed. So we'll take the positives out of it. And he's not a tiny little one, so I'll just put that net down. Like I said, he's not tiny, he's quite a nice one. And put a couple of quiet hours, that adrenaline kicks in as that alarm screams, and I guess that's the beauty about it, you just don't know what it is going to be. So what we'll do is we'll slip him back and see if we can't get ourselves another tench before we head off. But yeah, unexpected surprise. Well, after thinking that we might have missed a bite time, we've had another weird sort of take. It's sort of the bobbin hit the top, then went down, then went back up again. But we're attached to another tench. This one's putting up a little bit more of a scrap, so you never know. He might be slightly bigger. I don't want to talk it up and make myself look silly on camera and be another bream or about £2, but I'll keep a bit more quiet, and I'm just gonna concentrate now on getting this fish in, because I haven't seen it yet. It's not far off the rod tip now, so let's talk in more fish plan, I think. Let's slip this hook out. Oh, I think it's come out in the net actually, that was lucky. But there we are. Another tench, like I said. Well chuffed with that one, because I kind of thought that our chance is gone, but another one tempted to the fake maggot on that little method, and a cracking little tench to boot with it. He put up a real scrap, really good account for himself. I thought he's going to be a bit bigger than this, but not that he's tiny by any means. But, and like I said, I don't think we're going to be giving it too much longer. We had to wait a little bit longer for this one. We had that bream. I think the morning flurry and spell where you normally expect to catch him is perhaps gone. So we'll have another couple of chucks maybe, but if this is the last one today, then I've been happy with the results today, and certainly looking forward to tackling those bigger lakes later on. The left-hand rod has gone this time, and I've another cracking run, but I'm bringing in a bream, and I think that might tell us all we need to know about the tenches. The tench time is done. I know we had one in between this one and the last one, but that's a good morning's fishing. Let's have a look at this one, and perhaps we'll call that one a day. So let's get him on the mat. There we are. I'm not used to bream fighting. It's roared off again. I thought it was guaranteed to be a tench, but both of the best bites, funny enough, have been these bream. But as we said, a morning's fishing and a 3 tench, now 2 bream. Certainly can't complain at that. And plenty of time left in the day to head home and get some lunch. But I hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have coming out and filming it. And like I said, it's really whet the appetite to come back and see if we can nail one of the real big ones. So that's the target set, challenge set should we say, and hopefully we can complete that as well as today's gone. So let's slip him back, but I'd like to say, as always, a big thanks for watching, and we'll see you again on the next one.